Greetings from ClearConcepts. In this video, we're going to take a look at what the CGPA is and how you can improve it. Very briefly, what is the CGPA? What does it represent? The CGPA is a cumulative grade point average. It's an indicator of a student's preparedness at the ClearConcepts program that a student is registered for. It tracks all the effort that a student has put into attendance, watching recordings, reading notes and solutions, clarifying doubts, solving quizzes and assignments, all this at a topic level in each subject. Note the colors. You can see the different colors, and these are the colors that will correspond to what you see in the actual ready report, which we'll go through very shortly. What's the use of a CGPA? The CGPA is a good guide to estimate whether or not you are prepared enough for a rank for the exams that you're planning to take. As an example, if you're focusing on the AIMS, the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, at one of the ClearConcepts programs, you need to be getting 3.25 and above. If you're focusing at the JEE Advanced, you need to be getting 2.5 and greater. If your focus is the JEE Main or the AIPMT or NEET, you need to be getting 2 and greater. And finally, if your focus is the BITSAT, then you need to be getting a score of 2.3 and above to qualify for these exams. Now, these are not exact numbers, but they are a rule of thumb. How do you receive CGPA? As you know, students and parents receive the CGPA report or the CGPA numbers in something called the Ready Report, which is shared with parents and students at a regular frequency, at regular intervals. What does the Ready Report look like? Here's the Ready Report. Here's a quick snapshot of it. This is smaller than you can see, but nevertheless, the number here, in this case 2.67, represents the latest CGPA. These past 3 or 4 numbers that you see represent how the CGPA has evolved. So before 2.67, the number calculated was 2.53. Before that it was 2.4. Before that it was 2.37. It means that the student for who this Ready Report is calculated is on a consistently improving path, as his current CGPA is better than the previous one, which is better than the previous one, and so on and so forth. So that's the CGPA history. At the bottom, these are all the subjects and topics. So depending on what course you're registered for, these subjects could change, but usually they're physics, chemistry, maths, and each of them has a topic number, and those topic numbers are listed below here. The legend here shows you which color in this bar pertains to what. And if you remember from the previous page, let me go quickly, you can see that I've color coded them over here as well. So this should tell you quite clearly that the very light blues on top, those are for reading notes. The dark blue ones at the bottom are for attendance and watching recordings. The green bars represent scores for quizzes. The purple bars represent scores for assignments. And the red bars represent scores for asking questions. Now, there's a maximum that's possible to get on each one of these. Keep that at the back of your mind. It'll be important when we try and understand how you can improve your CGPA. So how do you improve your CGPA? You get these reports at a regular level, at a regular interval. So how does a student improve his or her CGPA? There are a few guidelines to follow. First, you need to focus on one topic at a time. What does that mean? It means that you should have read all the notes associated with a topic several times over the last, over however long you've been enrolled in the program for. So if you've been enrolled in a 2-year program, you should have read these notes maybe between 3 or 4 times. Once after class, once as a revision for the comprehensive test, a couple of times for the quizzes and assignments, and so on and so forth. So 3 or 4 times is what we expect you to have read the notes over a period of 2 years. If you've missed classes and have poor attendance, you're obviously not going to get a score for attendance, or no, you're not going to get a good score for attendance, but you can make it up by making sure that you watched the recordings of all the classes that you missed. They do not substitute attendance, but will at least give you a part score. You need to make sure that you've completed all the quizzes in a topic and obtained an acceptable score on each one of the quizzes in that topic. What's an acceptable score? An acceptable score is 85% or more. Is this unreasonable? Not really. Remember, you had 3 attempts at the beginning, and after that an unlimited number of attempts after that. You also had the ability to clarify your doubts and ask questions if you were not able to get that problem right. So therefore, expecting 85% is really not unreasonable when you've had so many attempts and the ability to clarify answers. Assignments. You have to make sure you've solved all the assignments in a topic and obtained an acceptable score. An acceptable score in an assignment is 70% or more. Again, is it unreasonable? Not really, if you think about the fact that you've had many months to do the same, many months or even years to do the same assignments. You need to make sure you're asking questions on the Learning Center to clarify any doubts you have and when you can't solve the quizzes and the assignment questions. Now, it's important to focus on one topic at a time. As an example, if you spent a certain amount of time doing 2 topics, half and half, you didn't complete each topic, you did only half of each topic, this will not improve your CGPA. However, if you spend the same amount of time completing everything in one topic as listed here in the point above, you will see significant improvements to your CGPA. This is an extremely important point. Don't be desultory with your learning. Don't jump from one topic to the other. Take one topic, take it to its conclusion, and that's what will bring you a better CGPA. Many students think that revision means just reading notes and viewing the assignments and quizzes that they've solved previously. Nothing could be further from the truth. Reading notes will only get you so far. Think about it. If you've read notes 3 times or 4 times, how much more incremental value do you think you're going to get from reading notes? Really not much. So you should really, after you've read them a certain minimum number of times, say 3 or 4 times over the course of 2 years or whatever time your program is for, then you should only be looking at the notes only to brush up things that you're weak at, only to maybe revise formulae, only to see how a particular problem was solved by a teacher, not for any other reason. You can't just be reading notes and expecting to get an improvement in CGPA. It's like reading a book. You already know what the plot is, so you're really not going to get that much more out of reading a book or seeing a movie the second time, right? The same principle applies. So you will get only marginal improvements if you just read notes, assuming you've read them a few times already. Again, just reviewing your previous quiz and assignment attempts will not improve your CGPA. You have to actually take the quizzes and assignments and submit them for grading to the system, for your grading to improve. Any attempts you make at quizzes and assignments that improves your best score that you've previously attained will improve your CGPA. And this includes attempts that you take at any time, either before the quiz was closed for grading or even after the quiz was closed for grading. Even then, you can take the quiz, and this will count towards improving your CGPA. Just because you missed a quiz in the initial period that it was open doesn't mean that that quiz will never count for your CGPA. Anytime, any improvements you make to the quiz score, even after the quiz has been closed and reopened, will count towards improving your CGPA. In general, the best way to improve your CGPA is to try and get better scores on quizzes and assignments as compared to your previous best scores. This is the single largest way or single most effective way to improve your CGPA. Finally, asking questions. It is unlikely that a student will have understood every concept and every quiz question and every assignment question and everything explained in all the classes. It's reasonable to expect that every student would have some doubts. Asking questions on the Learning Center and clarifying those doubts will improve your CGPA, because it means that you've taken an opportunity to clarify something you didn't understand, and that's what learning is about. For students of our engineering and medical entrance programs of standard 11 and 12, you also go through a revision program in which you get a bunch of revision notes and revision quizzes. Doing these notes and quizzes endlessly is not going to improve your CGPA. These notes and quizzes are just a refresher. They are only meant to help you understand where you stand. They are meant to be an independent check of what the CGPA report is already, or the READY report is already telling you. But it will not improve your CGPA by doing those quizzes and assigning those quizzes in the revision program over and over again, or those notes, reading those notes over and over again. At any point in time, if you find yourself wondering why your CGPA is not improving, while you think you've put in a lot of effort, you also get something called the range report. Take a look at it. Make sure you followed all these guidelines that I've just talked about. Remember, just reading notes and quizzes will not improve your CGPA. You have to actually solve quizzes and assignments and submit them for grading, and try and attain a higher score than you previously did on that quiz or assignments. These are the best ways to improve your CGPA. Finally, if you have any questions about how to go about this or any doubts regarding this video, then please email your mentor or the ClearConcepts administrator. And you know the address, it's administrator@clear-concepts.in. Happy learning!